attractive to cuttlefish, so this was used for the English version of the trap. A mesh size of 70 mm is commonly used in France. Using larger mesh may allow small cuttlefish to escape, making the trap more size selective. Larger mesh can also allow bycatches of unwanted species like spider crabs. This makes the traps less species selective. Unwanted species may cause damage to cuttlefish, possibly affecting catch quality. Smaller mesh sizes, especially with thick twines, get clogged easily with cuttlefish eggs and weed growth. This discolours the netting and obscures any visual attractants inside the trap. Smaller mesh sizes are also more difficult to rig onto the framework. Two cone-shaped entrances are fitted on opposite sides of the trap. These are generally made of wire mesh. Galvanized chicken wire was found to be particularly effective in the French fishery and worked well in the English fishery. The entrances must allow cuttlefish easy access into the trap and limit the opportunity for escape. Being highly maneuverable animals, it's not impossible for them to find their way out again. Because of this, new entrance designs are being tried continually. The trap is emptied of its catch through a flap in the netting. This flap is kept tightly closed while the trap is set on the seabed. The trap is mounted on a heavy steel skid. This skid protects the bottom of the trap from seabed abrasion. It ensures that the trap lands upright on the seabed and remains stable in use. It also makes an attachment point for a bridle line. Further protection to the framework can be given by covering it in rope or strips of rubber. A finished trap of this type weighs about 18 kilograms and can be handled quite easily by one person. Refinements are being made continually to the basic trap design. The uncanny ability of cuttlefish to find their way out of the two-entrance trap led to the development of a trap with a third entrance, which leads into a separate compartment, or parlour, holding the female lure. This third entrance makes escape more difficult from the parlour. So, how are these traps fished? Cuttlefish traps are rigged in strings or fleets, in a similar way to gill nets and trammel nets. The strings of traps are anchored at each end, and the position of the string is marked with down floats at the surface. The fleet length, the number of traps, and the spacings between traps can all vary, depending on the working arrangement of the boat and on fishing conditions. These boats are using 5 fleets, each having 10 traps, which are spaced 20 fathoms apart. Each trap is rigged to the main ground line using short lengths of rope. These strops are connected to a bridle, which is fixed to the trap. The The strop which connects the trap to the main ground line is made in two sections. One half of the strop, about 1 metre long, is spliced into the ground line. The other end of this rope has an eye spliced into it. The other half of the strop is connected to the bridle on the trap. The free end of this rope has a strong nylon toggle spliced into it. This forms a quick release connection, making the arrangement more flexible. The two halves of the strop are connected by passing the toggle through the eye splice, like a button in a buttonhole. The weight of the trap on the ropes makes sure they don't come apart. At sea, traps must be stacked carefully on the deck. This ensures that the traps are shot in the correct order. The shooting operation is more difficult when space is limited. The traps are shot in a line, following the direction of the tide. They are normally left to fish for 24 hours unless bad weather prevents subsequent recovery. Females used as lures rarely survive periods longer than 24 hours in the traps, and extended soak times will risk loss of catch quality. The recovery or hauling operation involves the use of an hydraulic line hauler. The hauler retrieves the ground line over an open-sided block which is suspended from a davit. As each trap reaches the surface, it is retrieved by a crewman and brought on board for emptying. The traps are then stacked carefully in sequence, ready for shooting again. Once on board, this valuable catch should be treated with respect. Cuttlefish should be boxed and regularly wetted to remove excess ink and keep them cool. Covering the boxes helps reduce the drying effect of the sun and the wind. To maintain catch quality, it is important that the catch reaches the market with the minimum of delay. This video film has described trap fishing for cuttlefish off the south coast of England. The film has been based on information and experience gained by seafish gear technologists in collaboration with commercial fishermen from both England and France. The film has given an insight into the life history of the cuttlefish and how it may be exploited responsibly using traps. This method has been illustrated by a combination of unique underwater observations, together with footage taken during commercial fishing trips. This film would not have been possible without the assistance of local fishermen at Hastings.
Thank you.